Hello and welcome. This is Roy Hess and another video in my random, boring computer corner. We have this pocket Ethernet. What could that be? Basically just a fancy Bluetooth network tester. Comes in this box, comes with a little manual, and there's an online support for that. There's an online handbook, and yeah, it's written really well. Anyone can understand this. People said it costs 500 in the beginning. It's currently, as of this month, available for like 199 bucks ish. And yeah, it can basically test for network and like latency and what is it called? Impedance, length, shortcuts, stuff like that. Coffee. Okay, so this is just a little fold-up manual. Like, you might pause the screen, pause the video if you want to read that. It's just too much text. Hey, is this even the right language? Okay. And on the other side, how you use it basically. Okay, I failed to hold it. Okay. This video is not sponsored in any way by Pocket Ethernet. It's just my company's network testing tool, so to speak. It comes in a little. It feels okay. It's, of course, it's like, but it feels okay. It comes with a little strap for your belt, I think. And let's open it up. So this is basically what you get. Let's get to the cables, straight to the cables. So it comes with a small, like a jumper patch cable, like 15 centimeters. That's like 7 inches, maybe a bit more. USB. Okay, this is not to connect to your notebook, I don't think, but this is like for charging up the device. Okay. It comes with a remote. What could you call that? It's a little remote, basically. Okay. And that's the machine itself. Alloy, aluminium. You can even see through a bit. Do I have a lamp? I just turned it on. Okay, you can totally see fine, right? As you can see, maybe you can see it. There is a little battery inside, so this thing runs on battery. Right? But you can charge it up with any USB port, just like plug it in, hook it up to a USB port, and you can charge it up. Okay? So that's that. Made in Hungary. Alright, so how does it work? Well, this device has Bluetooth. Okay, so you gotta pair it with your like smartphone, for example. So let's do that. Before you go ahead, you have to go into your App Store or Play Store for Android and Pocket Ethernet. Pocket Ethernet, there it is. So you type in Pocket Ethernet, you get this little icon, and it's already installed for me. It doesn't have a lot of requirements. I think. Does it even say what kind of requirements it has? Here it is. Like locations, photos, videos. You will see soon why. Bluetooth and yeah, network, of course. Coupling with Bluetooth devices. It doesn't need many. Requirements. All right. And this is basically your workspace with this thing. Okay, so let's hook it up to a network. So that's a 1 gigabit line. So let's hook that up to the tester. Oh, Discord. Turn it on, and once this thing has turned on, you can pair it with your device. So you have to enable Bluetooth, of course, and basically it doesn't have any pin that you have to enter. So once you have started your Pocket Ethernet and you have turned this thing on, just press the connect button. And as you can see, easy as that. And you're connected, basically. So let's do some tests. For example, wiremap PoE is a self-explanatory. Let's just like enable all the tests. So in the handbook, on the manual, it says, it describes those items. Right, so it means this is selected, it's not selected. Right, I cannot do that because for the last test, BER, I need this little thing. So let's disable that, right? Okay, the test is like pretty much over at this point. So let's see what we get here. Okay, that should be in focus, I hope. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the reports. Click on the little icon here and you can like, you see the test itself. Yes, I'm German and yes, I know my English is not that good. Alright? Hold longer for a little hint what it does and what it is. Okay, with the wiremap you can actually check for short circuits or like mixed up wires. We will see that in a second. Okay, yeah, where am I? Yeah, shield is missing. So you can see like the quality of the cable. Okay, I'm not a super network expert. Yeah, but I know some things. Yeah, so 2 it says short circuit. Don't know why. It shouldn't be short circuit because that wire goes directly into a switch. That's odd. Should we investigate? Somewhere over there it should come up into this run. It should come up into this run and back into that. So it should basically come up here. This little cable. Maybe I should test this cable. That's the test station cable. So let's get that out. If I can with one hand. Gotta test the cable. Maybe the cable's damaged or of a poor quality. So can I get this out? Cable management is good, but if you can't manage your cables with the cable management, you are basically okay. I don't want to say the F word. So in the meantime, I'll have a spare cable. This is 1 meter. It's a bit long. Okay, that's the shortest I have. 0.5 meter. Do you always throw your garbage around like that? Yes, I do. So, mind if I test it again? You can deselect all the other tests for now. It still says short circuit. I wonder if this cable itself is damaged. I have here a switch. This is just a random decommissioned 24. No, it's 16. 60 port switch. Let's run the test again, shall we? It always says short circuit. Maybe the machine itself is a bit damaged. I gotta talk to the maker, because that can't be. Let's tested like 3 cables. Well then, let's come to this little gadget here. That's a loopback adapter, and with that you can test network cables themselves. So unselect that, and we're gonna go to the other tests in a second. And this tests basically bam, 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 and back and forth, and you can see like what kind of rates your cable supports, basically. So we can select your speed and how many bytes your ping is supposed to be, like your payload, random, how many packets you're gonna send, 10 million packets, right? And here's like your results. Okay. I've just stopped the test because it took so long. Okay, let's not do 10 million cycles. Let's test this cable here. It shouldn't be defective. It should totally not be defective. It should be 0.5 meters. So let's measure that with full gigabit speed. No errors. And if you have errors, let's like force that maybe. See, there you can see when you have errors, when you just like send packets through the cable and the cable link breaks or something, you get error margin. Okay, so this is like not really a lot in 10 million packets or 1 million packets, but you can see how bad the cable could be. So what I'm going to do now is take this up, plug that in there, and connect the little remote gadget on my patch panel, and do another test, I guess. Maybe. So, okay, I've learned you cannot do this test with a switch in between. There's no link. Let's do this again without. And there we go. Full gigabit speed, 15k bytes, and random pattern, 1 million packets. And as you can see, no errors. I can wiggle this thing around. Oh, it's already done. Yeah. So the Tdr test is really nice for testing cable quality. There's another thing that you can test for cable quality. Tdr. And Tdr graph. Let's do wire map too. Yes, of course, it's the probe. So, mixed results, 5 meters. And it should be a little bit more than 10, I think. It should be a little bit more than 10. But that's okay. And Tdr graph. So I don't really completely know how to read that. I think this is like the quality, maybe? Like, I don't really know. There's like a scale missing here. Is this like, and I don't know how to really read that. But I think this is the quality and how it drops to the length of the cable, I guess. Right? But this is really nifty to show, like people to show. Right? This one just shows you like information about like switches that are connected to your network, so we can do that. Oh yeah, before I forget, let's do the wire map again. This little remote, the little remote has like another jack on the other side with a wire map business going on. So let's test the wire map business. Okay, now this time it says okay. So the wire map, okay, I totally did get that wrong. Good, I have to edit that in later. I totally get that wrong, the wire map thing. So with the little remote, you can test your cables if the wire is like properly wired. Now, let's do all the tests again. I don't need the wire map now, I think. PoE, I don't have any PoE, but let's test this. Let's test this, that. Let's test the link quality, collect data, VLAN. I should have VLAN 1. DHCP, ping, traffic, yeah, let's listen to traffic. And BER, as I said, you can only do that with the little remote. So let's measure all. Shouldn't take too long. Oh yeah, about the PoE. I think I should have a PoE injector. But I don't know why, where. So I have a PoE injector, I gotta find that. I want to really test this out if it detects the voltage correctly. So TDR is of course it connected to Ethernet port and distance. It doesn't say the distance because, you know, why? TDR graph. This looks fancy. Again, I don't really know how to read that. Maybe it's in the description. Imperfections of a cable along its whole length or a section of it. A short electrical pulse is sent down a cable which is reflected from imperfections. So the more the graph should be flat, right? Shows the distance while the vertical axis shows any reflections. Okay. The test pulse, the 4 color lines, 4 wires, blah blah blah. Cable extenders, yes, I have a cable extender actually. Okay, so like the more reflections, the worse like the imperfections on the cable. Aha, I see that. But why does it go into the negative then? Oh well. So yeah, link speed. It just like checks what kind of stuff it's possible. Half full duplex on any speed, like 10, 100, 1000. Okay. And the delay, like some cables could be longer than others, like for example pair 4 has a slightly maybe imperfection or something. Anyways, there's like a little bit of a nanosecond delay. Okay, so I don't think it it works. Okay, so maybe I don't have any switches that actually tell you any data, right? So VLAN, of course, DHCP. It even checks for a boot business, like if you have like a TFTP server somewhere. Latency, I don't have any specified targets. Yeah, traffic, it just shows you like what kind of stuff is listening and shouting through your whole network, because like this, for example, is like broadcast, but what could be 0479? Is it this device? 0479? I have no idea, but someone is broadcasting. Whatever. Yeah, so, and yeah, tools. You can, yeah, you can tone through the network, but I shouldn't do that with this thing yet, because I could ruin my switch. A blinker, yeah. Link established. So you could actually say, hey, I want to connect at 1000 or at 100. Then that one should be blinking only. Right? Or off at the 10, half duplex. It doesn't show at like 10 megabits half duplex, but it can actually establish a link on anything you want. So this is really nice. Settings, yeah. Bluetooth also off. Good. This is actually nice. I haven't figured it out. It's nice. TIA, TDR calibration. Haven't checked on this. Oh, that's the MAC address of this device. 28FD. Okay. Yeah. And you can set. You can send reports. Like where, from who, where, like floor and outlet, patch panel, commands, email address. You can take photos, you can switch the camera around, and yeah, you can send it or save it to the phone itself, right? It should send. I've tested this on an email, and there it is. That's your report, and you can save that like for location and stuff like that. It really helps organizing your reports. It says where, it says the wires, and Tdr power, don't have any power. It says what kind of link. Basically all the stuff you see on the device itself, it shows in the report. So this is really helpful. So I found a PoE injector, but look at the logo. This is Ubiquiti. So it doesn't output 48 volts, but I think 12 volts or 24-ish. I don't know. Ubiquiti is a bit different in that term. But let's plug it in. Yeah, get some power. So it's working. This goes into LAN. This is my PoE. And now let's go to the test and let's test for PoE, I guess. Voltage present, and it does a full gigabit. Oh, that's interesting. Check this out. Voltage present, 32 volts. So yeah, this is a typical Ubiquiti business. Like PoE should be 48 volts, but this one does 32. I don't know why Ubiquiti does that. 24 it says here. That's odd. It says 24 volts here. Maybe it's okay. It says peak voltage. On line 1 it says 18 volt. Oh well. But yeah, it works. It even checks for power over Ethernet. So now imagine you have only one network port in your office, but you have two computers or two devices. How would you do that? There is one way you could run a new cable, or you could use one of those. I'm not a big fan of those guys. They basically split one outlet into two cables, so two cables can use one full 8 cable or 4 pairs cable. So let's try it. Imagine this section is like a 50-meter cable from your server room to your office. This is the outlet in your office, and now you have two outlets, provided that you have connected those two guys somewhere. So like one with my power over Ethernet thing there. That section is my office. Let's say A is my computer, whatever. And of course you have to connect A on the other side as well. So A goes into my full gigabit switch, right? And I've got to unwrap another cable. And B goes into a power over Ethernet, for example, for a phone. Some VoIP phones do that. So B goes into that. So imagine this is your patch panel or your server room or whatever, network cabinet, and this is your office side. So now I should have a full 100 Mbit link. Okay, we can test for PoE. We can test for, yeah, let's do the Tdr test and the Tdr graph and the link. The rest is more or less uninteresting for now. Wire map, no. So we shouldn't have any PoE, but we should have a link, 100 Mbit. Of course it doesn't detect any voltage. But can you see the thing? Before we had 4 pairs, and now we have only 2 pairs. We have 100 Mbit full duplex, or like 10 Mbits also works. But gigabit doesn't work because gigabit needs 4 pairs, right? So, but yeah, it still works. You can have 2 devices on one network port, provided this section in between has all 8 cables working, right? So now let's do this with the PoE, because it didn't detect any voltage. Why? Because we are connected to A, and A is connected directly to our switch. So let's do this with power over Ethernet, if that works. And let's do all the tests again. We should detect a voltage. Or not. Tdr graph is, of course, lots of imperfections here. 50, okay, that's never seen such a high number. What kind of pair is this? 4. This short line, I think it's because of this one. They are not really good. And those guys are not shielded, I think. But yeah, 50, I've never seen such a thing before. Yeah, and of course gigabit's not working. But 10 and 100 are working. That's a really nifty tool. I could play along like a whole day with that thing. Okay, I want to do one last interesting test. Let's measure that. That link, no, not link, but measure that. That maybe with million packets. Let's use a bunch of cables. That, and yeah, let's have like an extender in between. More cables. Oh, look at that. Another extender. You know what? I have 2 of these. Let's get nasty. Connect this to A. And this finally goes into my tester. And over on the patch panel, let's have another cable on A with my Loopback device. So with this test we have our testing device. We have a short cable here. I don't have any longer cables laying around. We have a splitter, we have an extension business, we have a long cable, 10 meters, then we have another of those guys, and we have our probe. So to like just check for a not so good connection. Alright, so let's test for Tdr graph. Linked, no, don't do a link, but we have the Tdr test. And now let's measure how good our connection is, how good the cable is. 6 meters, that's not right. It says 11 here, and those pairs are open because, why? Of course, splitter. Or Doppler, we call them in Germany. You know what I mean. Yeah, so, but they are connected. There's like a really bad reflection here on this cable, always on this pair. But overall it looks okay-ish. The end looks okay-ish, but in the beginning here, maybe this thing is causing a little bit of trouble. But overall it looks good. Did that not do any tests? Oh yeah, I have the probe the other way around. But yeah, of course it can't do 1,000. It can do 100. See? Let's wiggle some cables around. Maybe pull stuff out. Oh no, link error. Oh well, yeah, but this is a really powerful test device. This is really powerful. To turn it off. It's off and you can go.